If we take a step back and really look at this Bitcoin chart as realistically as possible, what looks like the more probable scenario? A pump up towards the $9,000 or $10,000 region, or another capitulation down into the 3K zone? Let's dive in and analyze. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Crypto Kirby here, your cryptocurrency expert, back with another edition of the daily live stream. Today we're going to discuss the Bitcoin price and look at this from a macro perspective. We've seen all sorts of shenanigans in the short term here, and right now I think it's very important to take a step back and look 2 steps ahead here into this trend. Are we going to see another potentially heinous rip to the upside? Or, my friends, is this setting up for what could be another absolutely devastating capitulation to the downside? So as a full-time trader, I'd like to discuss with you my strategy, my game plan, and how I plan to crush this market right now in the immediate term. So without any further ado, you guys already know the deal. If you like these daily crypto videos and nightly live streams, smack that thumbs up button, click the subscribe, tick the little bell. And let's get this crypto. Moon the likes, ladies and gentlemen. Moon them up. All right. So we'll begin with our Bitcoin technical analysis. And of course, before we begin, this is not investment advice. This is not trading advice. These are only my own opinions, ideas, and speculative hypotheses on the market. Always do your own research and your own due diligence before investing or trading, as this market is extremely high risk, and I am not your financial advisor. I will never tell you what to do with your trades or investments. That being said, let's begin right here on the monthly line chart for Bitcoin. The line chart does not account for wicks. It only accounts for candle body closes. Now, you guys can clearly see here that I have this trend really divided up into 3 spots. This green down here is where we've seen our ultimate bottom, and actually if we do flip on our candlestick chart briefly, that is where our wick touched right down into before the price action to where we are today. But let's go back to the line chart. We could see that's essentially the capitulation support zone. Back here in the middle in this red box is essentially our median line of the macro trend. Above it, we've seen our bullish blow off tops of our market cycles, and below it, we've seen our capitulation twice, right? So right now, we are essentially right at the upper end of the median line. Now, this gets very interesting, my friends, because you have to understand that even just from this point in time, Bitcoin still is on a very bearish looking descending rejection line, right? Where we've seen this downward sloping resistance playing a role for months and months on end. And if you actually take it from the ultimate top there at 20,000, I mean, this trend line, my friends, has really played an absolutely critical role for years at this point, right? I mean, there's really 3 beautiful touches here, right? One at 20K, one again at 14K, and another one here up around 10,000. Now, the reason of why 9,000 gets very interesting here, if Bitcoin is to be able to continue to the upside, is this gap here on the CME futures chart around 9,060, right? You guys can see here I have this outlined. I mean, the gap is huge, and historically these gaps have loved to fill. Of course, it does not have to fill. Past performance does not indicate future results, but you guys can see here all of these little yellow lines I've scribbled in there like that are these gap fills that we've seen time and time again throughout Bitcoin's history. And right now, even though this price action seems like it's potentially not sustainable, which we'll discuss more, I mean, we're getting awfully close to this region up here to fill the gap. And I mean, in Bitcoin world here, I mean, we are still 22% away roughly from that gap fill at the time of recording. But I mean, coming from where we came from down with that wick down to 3.8K, I mean, we're a lot closer now than we were at that point in time. Let's get this crypto. So let's go back now to the monthly chart again here on the line chart. Okay. Now, as you guys can see here, we do have that clear rejection trend line, right? And we are getting up into the area here right now where if we can't sustain price action above this median box here, right, this red box, this to me is still identifying that the bearish trend is still in full control, right? As basically, when you test from underneath it back up into it, like we saw here on the candlestick chart, right? We went below it and back into it. You would expect for this to act as a tentative new resistance zone, right? Just the opposite of what you would expect from the upper end, right? That when you trade down into the box, it acts as a new tentative support, which it did, right? You guys saw this. When we dropped down into this range last time, we saw a bounce on Bitcoin for roughly 62% to the upside after bouncing down into that box from the upper end. Now we're bouncing up into this box from the lower end, and it's to be determined of what we see in the price action here moving forward. It's just very interesting, my friends, that we are at a point here where this looks like, if you just use the candle bodies here, right, that we still are really seeing a staunch downward sloping resistance here, and we don't have that much room left to go in terms of meeting that line. And it's very interesting because this line really does coincide almost around that level of the $9,000 region. Not exactly, but it's pretty darn close. So it will be interesting to see if Bitcoin is able to get above that range. Now, let's move into the let's go to the weekly here, okay? Now, let's remove this line since it's not valid on the candlestick chart. And let's take a look here, okay? Basically, in and of itself, this whole region here, just of this move, let's not even focus on 2017 and 2018 for now. Just this here, 2019 and 2020. The range that we are at right now, the critical exact region of about 7,500 USD. This range in particular has had so much importance to it. I mean, and it is absolutely a gain for the time being right now. This has been a major macro support and resistance range, right? It really acted as support 3 times, once right there, once right there, once right there for our final rally up before our double top rejection. And my friends, this is the first time now that after breaking through this level and seeing it fail as support, this is the first time that we're testing back up into this region. Per classical technical analysis theory, it would only be normal, borderline expected for this to at least act as a temporary resistance before getting some type of rejection and then looking to retest it and then finally break through. Now, I mean, Bitcoin right now, the market environment is very irrational, right? The traditional markets, my friends, absolutely irrational as well, right? If we take a look at the S&P 500 weekly chart, I mean, my friends, this is a straight V-shaped recovery to the upside, almost 26% at the time of recording. The Dow Jones, very, very similar there as well, my friends. And Bitcoin, when you look at it, is really following the same type of price action. And you could chalk this up to it's the Fed with their announcements of essentially unlimited QE. Money printing is essentially going wild at this point in time, doing anything to try and keep the economy and the market from collapsing. And sure, this could have an indirect effect on Bitcoin. And I say indirect because, there's nothing in that stimulus package that has specifically said that they are going into Bitcoin, right? So you can't really say that the money directly is going into Bitcoin, which I don't believe it is at all. But you could speculate that if the markets as a whole on a global scale are beginning to see some risk on type of investments coming back into play, where investors / traders are looking to get back into riskier things such as equities, that they could also be speculating with a little bit more risk in something like Bitcoin. That's why I'm saying we could see an indirect correlation with Bitcoin, as it's just extra capital, not from the stimulus itself, but from speculators looking to get into an ultra high risk assets such as Bitcoin if they are feeling more comfortable in the current environment, getting back into more riskier assets in general. Let's get this crypto. Now, for me, my friends, when we turn on these moving averages, the story that we're being told here is still very bleak in my opinion. Let's flip on our 21-week too. We could see Bitcoin right now still below the 21-week and the 50-week moving averages. I mean, historically, my friends, trading above these two has been very, very bullish for the macro trend. Trading below them, very, very bearish. I mean, we capitulated there. Back here, we capitulated there. It's not been good times when Bitcoin is trading full candle bodies below the weekly 21 and 50 week moving averages. And we are at that point right now. And you guys can see that we're essentially seeing this 21 week converge right here, right now into this very specific area of confluence that I just pointed out for you. So it's just another, layer here that's starting to show some further downside pressure on this market. Now, we're going to need to see how all of this plays out, because as I've stated, there are some external factors going on here, with the packages going on in the world right now. But it's such an interesting time, my friends, because although we are seeing essentially money being printed out of air, for lack of a better way of describing it, the world situation right now doesn't seem too great to me. I mean, the situation with the health issues going on right now, it just doesn't seem to me like the economy and the markets should be ready for a full-blown recovery. I mean, that's just my own interpretation of it. So, with the trend still being so overwhelmingly bearish, which it has been for 2+ years, my friends, with the overlaying health concerns here, I just don't know if Bitcoin is going to be able to take out the critical levels that it needs to take out. And that, for me, is this upper end here, this red channel up at the top, okay? That has always been the channel for me, right? We need to see new higher highs be created above that 10,000, looks to me to be about 10,500. We need to get above this box, consolidate above, and then look to break out, right? Until that happens, the trend is really always in control of the bears, in my opinion. And I'm sure, little James, but Kirby, what do you mean? What do you mean? We went up over 100%, Kirby. I mean, little James, you can't really just look at this one-sided, right? I mean, Bitcoin just dumped. Look at it. It just dumped over 60% to the downside after creating yet another lower high, my friend, right? That is very, very, very bearish, okay? And the thing is that's why they call these things bull traps, is because if it looks really bullish here, there's still always that overwhelming bearishness of the long-term macro trend here, right? Where Bitcoin has not been able to create a new higher high on a macro level for years and years. And it's called a bull trap because people all of a sudden see the bottom is in, Kirby, the bottom is in. And then they start to, invest, and bad things can happen when confirmations aren't yet in, right? And something like a rejection there would just be very normal, in my opinion, let alone if it even occurred potentially where we are at right now, or even lower than that, if we do happen to get through this red box and see a fake out for a lower high, just keeping the lower high trajectory intact. Let's get this crypto. Also here on the weekly, my friends, I do have this RSI channel drawn here, of which we could see. Let's actually pull this up here. We know that this range here, if you are subscribed, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, my friends, you should probably subscribe right now. Tick the little bell and select all. Here, I pulled that up for you. And this is for you guys that are subscribed already as well. Make sure the subscribe button is clicked, the bell is ticked, and then all is selected. If you don't select all, you don't get the notifications when I upload. And I know many people say, oh, Kirby, I didn't get a notification. It's in your best interest to get these videos right when I upload them in a timely fashion. So make sure all those steps you see on the screen are selected. You're subscribed, you've ticked the bell, and you selected all. Let's get this crypto. Okay, and my friends, if you haven't already, I mean, I hope you have by now, if you could leave a thumbs up for the algorithm and a comment for the algorithm, literally anything, type okay, Kirby, a dot, a smiley face, thanks, Kirby, get wrecked, Kirby, I don't care what it is, but it helps the algorithm and I so appreciate it. So thank you, my friends. Leave a thumbs up, a comment, and subscribe if you're new. Okay, let's go. Now, here on the weekly RSI, we have entered this channel here which has proven to be another key area of confluence throughout Bitcoin's history. And I mean, we are testing the upper end of this box right now. I have this box going up to about a 48 here on the weekly RSI. And right now, at the time of recording, we are at about a 46, almost to a 47. It would not surprise me to see Bitcoin potentially see some rejection here on the RSI, maybe up around the top of this box. It's just another piece to add into the puzzle here, right? That we are seeing things such as the downward sloping resistance, the 21-week moving average converging on that level. We are at the top of the median box here, right? And then, of course, we are at the upper end of this historic RSI box as well, right? It's just looking for a confluence of things, my friends. This is just a probabilities game. It's not supposed to read the future. I'm not a fortune teller, right? That's why I think it's so funny that when I show this analysis, right, say that Bitcoin does go ahead and just break right through the top of this red box here, right? All of these degenerates that understand nothing about charts or trading and that they just want to watch this video for who knows what reason. They watch it just to yell and scream about how Bitcoin is so bullish and it's going to $1 million a coin. But say that we just saw this go right through this box. Kirby, you were wrong. Your box got wrecked. I can't control what the market does, Stunad. You understand? This is a game of probabilities. If you can't see that this has been an area of clear historic confluence, then you shouldn't be looking at charts at all. This is what you look at charts for, is for this type of information. It doesn't mean that the chart always has to be respected. It doesn't have to at all. You know, an example of that is right here back in 2019, right? This zone here looked like it should be a pretty staunch resistance level as we built multi-month support at this range, right? At around 6,000. My friends, we stopped out here briefly, and then upon testing into this range, just ripped right on through it with absolutely no resistance at all in that range, right? And I mean, again, ladies and gentlemen, at that point in time, Kirby, but you said it was going to be resistance. You said, I mean, my friend, if you do technical analysis, right, or you're trying to learn it or whatever you're doing, right, this has to be seen there at that point in time without any of these candles here at all, that this is going to be a potential resistance zone because old potential, or rather old support, loves to become new potential and tentative resistance. That just is what it is. It's not always respected, right? So it's a game of probabilities. I mean, my friends, right now, I'm strategizing to play this next move absolutely aggressively. And I always say it, but if you're not already in my VIP, ladies and gentlemen, you should really consider joining VIP today. I mean, I post all of my trade setup ideas in real time for you there. I can only be on YouTube doing analysis like this once per day. And in VIP, it's 24/7. As I see the market moving and I'm setting up my trades, I'm posting it all for you around the clock. My friends, right now, I am actually seeing some potential opportunity in the altcoin market as well. Things like Ethereum starting to look very juicy. I am speculating short on Ethereum right now. The total crypto cap, my friends, is also at a point where we could be ready for an absolutely, I mean, to me, if we test back down into this range after topping out of in what right now appears to be a potential topping out zone, my friends, this market really could be due for something devastating that many people don't want to talk about. I mean, we also have the Bitcoin halving looming, which again, many people only want to look at that from one perspective, and that's it's so bullish, we're going to the moon. I mean, my friends, half of the daily Bitcoin supply for the miners, the block reward is going to be cut in half. Their profitability essentially gets cut in half. The block reward is giving them half the Bitcoins per day that they're used to getting right now. Their expenses aren't going to change. Their employee count isn't going to change. The only thing that changes is how many Bitcoins they're able to mine per day. That to me doesn't necessarily have to be that bullish, because if the demand for Bitcoin does not miraculously explode overnight, we're just going to see less supply with the same or less demand, meaning that the miners are now running a less profitable business. And if the amount of transactions per day on the Bitcoin blockchain do not increase, if we don't see a surge in the price action to make up for the lost amount of business expenses from these mining companies. I don't know if the halving this time around has to be as bullish as it was in the past. Okay, it's just an idea on my end. I hope it's as bullish as it's been in the past, because if we can get up above 10,500 here and consolidate, my friends, we could be in for an absolutely juicy ride. But right, I don't want to just bank on that. I don't want to, cross my fingers here, close my eyes and say, oh, we need to get above it. Kirby, we need to get above it. The halving. That is malarkey, my friends. Absolute and utter malarkey. The Don is looking to strike upon whatever this market gives me. If we get rejected here, my friends, you best believe that Don Carbanaccio is going to be potentially looking to play this trend to the downside as well. If we see a capitulation here again to retest back down into my green box here with the upper end around 4,000, just from right now, my friends, that's roughly a 46% decline to the downside. You wouldn't want to get in on that action? You wouldn't want us to take a trade that, profits huge like that? Come on, man. I mean, the thing is that this space is very, very bizarre in the sense that, contrary to something like the global equities markets, traders in the equity markets, they don't care if the trade has to be taken short, right? It just is what it is. Oh, look, all the indicators line up to the short end. So, I'm going to take a short profit and then get out. In crypto, people really have these negative feelings about shorting for some reason, that it's almost like it's going against their belief system, almost as if crypto is this religion that you can only go long because you have this fantasy in your brain that the fiat system is going to collapse. This is the new money, Kirby. This is the future. I mean, my friends, if you want to think like that, I guess that's fine, but that's really not how trading works. I mean, trading means that you're basically agnostic to that type of feeling, right? You don't care if it goes up. You don't care if it goes down. You're just looking for confluence in the chart to give yourself the best perceived edge over the market. If, X, Y, and Z line up and it looks bullish, well, sure, you could take a bullish trade because that's where the profit is to be had. If X, Y, and Z adds up to, well, it looks like the market could go down, well, that's where shorting comes in. And you take a short because that's where the profit is to be had at that point in time. It's not about some fantasy delusional, in the year 2030, you just don't understand, Kirby. I don't care about the year 2030. I care about this market going up or down over the next period of few weeks, months, etc. I'm looking to play the trend to the best of my ability, right? I don't want to leave this up to a hope and a dream. My friends, if you understand what I'm talking about here and you feel the same way, please leave a thumbs up on this video. It really helps the algorithm, and if you appreciate what I'm saying, please, it really helps it out. And if you're connecting with my thoughts on that type of level, then my friends, again, you probably do want to see how I'm setting up all of my trades in real time in VIP. I post it around the clock. I look for high reward, low risk trade setups day in and day out. Many moon boys in this space get absolutely decimated and wrecked because they're just hoping and praying for something to happen, right? Whereas traders are looking for reactionary plays to the price action in the chart, right? It's not just based off of some belief system, that fundamentals are going to take this thing to the moon. I mean, to each their own. For me, that's way too unrealistic for me to personally speculate like that. It's too reckless, right? So for me right now, I'm looking for very high reward, low risk trade setups in here. I hope that you guys see my sentiments. I mean, we have the gap fill again. I'll show you this briefly. We have the potential gap fill zone up there around 9,060 on the CME futures chart. Doesn't have to fill, but that is essentially where my 9,000 target comes in. If that gets broken through, well, then ultimately, if we go back now to the Bitcoin chart here, we could see the $10,000 range ultimately is going to be a potential retest of this double top rejection zone, right? And if we do test up there, we'd have to break through. If we don't break through, if we test it up there, if we test it all the way up towards that region once more and get rejected again, my friends, that would probably be one of the most bearish confirmations in Bitcoin history. A triple macro rejection. I mean, to me, that would not be very, very healthy at all. So we'll have to see. And obviously, to the low end, my friends, the reason for this, of why I said, could we test the 3K region, is because we are at a point right now of potential maximum resistance, right, of the macro trend in general. And it would only make sense for me that we could possibly look to test back down towards a double bottom retest here, maybe around 4,000. Or, my friends, it still would be normal to potentially even test the bottom of this green box, right, where we still have historic macro confluence just from the other way, right? Old macro resistance here, old macro support here. And maybe maybe the bears do look to test down into this level, of which maybe then we could see some bullish accumulation before a real run up. Let's get this crypto, okay? This shouldn't overwhelm you. If you feel overwhelmed, well, I mean, just step back, take a deep breath, and realize that, you know, you just have to keep your finger on the pulse of this market. I'm watching this chart right now like a hawk with an eagle eye, like a cobra in the grass, getting ready to strike on whatever opportunity comes my way. And my friends, like I've stated, I'm going to be keeping you updated exclusively in VIP with every single trade setup that I formulate, every entry, every exit, every target, every take profit zone that I formulate. I'm posting it exclusively for you there in VIP. If you're not already in my VIP, ladies and gentlemen, sheesh, today is truly the day. It's time to transform yourself from average Joe into savage Joe. Let's get this crypto. My friends, one last time, could you please leave a thumbs up, a comment, anything? It could be one character. Say LOL, hey, thanks, anything. It so helps the channel. And like I've stated earlier, if you're not already subscribed, this channel provides some of the most realistic Bitcoin analysis you're ever going to find. So hit that subscribe button, tick the little bell, and select all, just like you're seeing on your screen right now. That will allow you to get all of my videos in real time. As I upload them, you will get a notification from YouTube, and that goes for you guys that are already subscribed as well. Make sure that you tick that bell again and select all so that you get the notifications in a timely fashion. And my friends, until next time, I'm going to be looking for aggressive trading opportunity, not only in the Bitcoin chart right now, but in the altcoin charts as well. So if you are interested in seeing all of my trade setup ideas in real time as I look to potentially crush the market like a 2-ton man on a tuna fish can, well then, my friends, I will see you in VIP right now after this video. Let's get this crypto. And until next time, my friends, the Don has spoken. Be safe, be happy, be healthy. It's your boy, Crypto Kirby. Peace and love, my friends. Curbs.